Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and this is Zohaib here again with you, and thank you very much for watching, liking and subscribing to my channel. So in our last video we discussed about the manager in a small business or non-governmental organization. So today we'll be discussing about the leading the management revolution. Since as you know that to be a successful manager in current era of uncertainty and current times of uncertainty and pandemics, it's very hard to become a successful manager. And as you know that management is an art and a science both. It is not only possible to learn management all by books and all by the literature. So management needs practice also. It is a science, is it can be learned through books, through literature and through ideas and also through the online resources, but at the same time it is an art as well, because it needs the practice. There are many skills which are not learned from the books. For example, like tennis, golf and skating, you keep on practicing and then you learn very much about it. So the same case goes with the management. As much as you practice by managing people, by managing resources and by managing functions, then your expertise get well on management. So management is an art at the same time, as we discussed. And so like to become a successful manager, you have to follow both the things. You have to learn management by books and completing a graduate degree in business, and also learn management practically by practicing and also sharing it with your colleagues and with your fellows. So this is how you will improve in the management. So like in coming era and in the for the future, preparation is very necessary. So preparing for the future needs very good commitment, dedication and a hard work to become a successful manager. So over last few years, managers will rely on human and conceptual skills as compared to technical skills. In the coming future, managers will rely on these two type of skills categories, and as we discussed earlier that managers will be relying on the interpersonal, decisional and also informational roles very much. So it is very necessary to prepare according to the needs of the times and the challenges posed by the environment in different contexts. So like there are four main theories which define management of future. Like number one, paradigm shift. Paradigm shift is a fundamental way of thinking, understanding, perceiving the world around you. So paradigm shift is basically that everything is getting changed nowadays. As you are aware, nowadays people rely on frequent interactions, frequent innovations, and also they rely on the face-to-face interactions and the teamwork to achieve the goals. For example, like as you know that nowadays it is very necessary to innovate, because as you know that it is the time of virtual interaction. Many of the people due to pandemic are going virtually and they are conducting the meetings virtual. They are also interacting with their customers and stakeholders virtually. So learning the virtual technologies and also make the best use and utilization of the virtual tools for a manager is equally very important. And if we consider the example of Swiss watches, Switzerland made the best watches in the world, which made around 85% of its revenue, and it was like 60% of its growth. But as you know that now the watch industry is revolutionized to from manual watches to the automatic and digital watches. So the Swiss companies market share like Rolex and all other brands have decreased enormously, and it has decreased to 10 to 20% only. So paradigm shift is basically a theory which defines management as a revolution, and it focuses on the innovations, frequent innovations all the time. So apart from paradigm shift theory, here comes another theory which is Chow's theory. As you are aware that organizations and managers plan on projects and also the goals, but they are unfortunately unable sometimes to meet their goals because of the environmental challenges, and there are certain disruptions which come very suddenly, and their day-to-day operations are unpredictable. So they need to overcome that obstacle, and they have to get themselves prepared to meet any ambiguous or unpredictable challenges. So Chow's theory is also being acknowledged by the US firms, and it also is acknowledged by the US companies like Honda and Ford Motors. So Chow's theory is again very important in the management, and it is the philosophy that how frequent you adopt to the changing environment. For example, Honda and AT&T also acknowledges Chow's theory in their commercials nowadays in US. And after Chow's theory, here comes workplace diversity. As you know that in global organizations there are many people from different religions, different ethnic backgrounds, different races, different languages. So it is very important to maintain the workplace diversity, because if you would be having different diverse workforce in your organization, being a manager you will be able to generate more ideas. There would be people in your teams with different styles, different cultures, different backgrounds, so they will bring up with the different ideas, and it will eventually become a reason for your diverse and competitive edge for your organization. So workplace diversity is again very important. If we consider the organizations in US, there are people from Africa, from there are Latin people, there are Asian people who work in the global organizations. If we consider the example of Google, if we consider the example of Pepsi, if we consider the example of Apple, so these are all the examples where people from different cultures work together as a team and they produce the better results in those organizations. So workplace diversity and cross-border cultural interaction is again important for a global organization to bring the innovation all the time, as we discussed earlier in the paradigm shift theory. And it is again very important to bring those people from different cultures and backgrounds on the higher ranks, so they could have a better impact on the rest of the workforce. So this is the workplace diversity theory, and it also helps organization to have a strategic workforce, and also help organization in the inclusion. What is inclusion? Inclusion means to gather people from different ethnicities, races, culture, languages on a one platform and providing them the equal opportunities to grow. So if people will think that they are transparently treated and they have been provided the equal opportunities without any bias, conscious or unconscious, they will perform better and they will own the organization more better. So this is the workplace diversity theory. And last but not least, the theory which is important to be a successful manager for the coming future is globalization. As we are aware that It is the era of digital marketing, it is the era of social media, where a news or anything gets viral within seconds. And I mean, if there is something bad or good happening with the organization, it appears in the news channels, and it also appears on the social media, and it gets viral. So globalization is again very important for the management. So a manager should think and have a perspective in a global context. If a manager works on the top management of an organization, whether it may be local or global, so he should have a global perspective, that what are the current trends, how the management for teams is now going on, how the teams are being managed very effectively and innovatively. So many of the companies in today's era are focusing on the globalization. For example, Johnson and Johnson, Gillette, Coca-Cola and Xerox now create now have their half of their workforce outside their base countries, or from where they operate from. So having diversity and inclusion is again very important for the globalization. So if an organization or a manager wants to be successful, he or the organization should have the mix of all cultures and backgrounds, so they should have a strategic workforce to perform and also address to the needs of those local people. So this is very important aspect of the management theory, and to be a successful manager, it is very necessary to have a global perspective. So this diversity is very important, because this diversity is something which creates a differentiation of your organization among other organizations. So there are many global newsletters which rate the companies on inclusion and diversity, and they also provide the statistics to the organization, so how well they can adapt to the coming future, and also they can adapt to the challenges in terms of different nations. So this is globalization. So it is all about today, and to be a successful manager, you should think about these theories and also prepare yourself and analyze yourself to be more adaptive for the coming future being a manager. So thank you very much for watching my video once again, and please do not forget to like and subscribe, and in our next video we will be learning about the organization. Thank you very much. Take care.